4 MVPs, 1 Super Bowl, a reputation forged in Green Bay.
Aaron Rodgers, the most prolific touchdown passer in Green Bay Packers history.
Rolling left, winds up, rainbows it high and deep into the end zone. It's high pointed and caught. A miracle catch. Jeff Hail Mary answered again.
The title is back in town. The Green Bay Packers are world champions of football.
In 2 shaky years in New York. And now, with Pittsburgh, the legend's writing its final chapters.
Aaron Rodgers.
I live between 2 worlds of the extroverted
1, 2, 3, dominate!
and an introverted lover of silence.
But the pens dipped in both glory and messy ink. Aaron Rodgers, genius, icon, polarizing.
There. He turned 32 yesterday. Does he have a vintage moment in it? In the end zone.
What is the true story behind his legacy? Buckle up, because we're about to dig beyond the hype.
So if I ask you who the biggest diva quarterback is in the NFL, who would that be?
The biggest diva in the NFL. Oh shit, it's easy. Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to beat back Father Time and the expectations.
Why do you say there's pressure on you?
Well, I think if I don't do what I know I'm capable of doing, we're all probably going to be out of here. So,
what is the very latest surrounding Rodgers' situation?
Come March 12th, the new league year, Aaron Rodgers will not be a New York Jet.
This is incredibly rare for an all-time great quarterback to have their career end on this type of win.
losing friendships, family, it was heartbreaking.
Here come the Jets.
Rodgers has something to prove.
It is on.
Protection breaks, down goes Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers has officially tore his Achilles.
It's catastrophic.
Is it time for him to retire?
What does the future hold for Aaron Rodgers?
Let's rewind the tape all the way back to where this saga really begins. Aaron Rodgers wasn't supposed to be this guy. Coming out of Chico, California, he was overlooked. No major Division I offers, no blue chip ranking, nothing. He literally had to start at Butte Community College. That's not exactly the launch pad for NFL greatness, but Rodgers treated it like a personal mission. 1 year, 10-1 record, a conference championship, and suddenly Division I schools were like, wait, who is this kid dropping dimes like he's playing Madden on rookie mode? That's how he ended up at Cal. And at Berkeley, Rodgers turned himself from a junior college transfer into a top NFL prospect. He had that almost robotic accuracy. In one game against USC, he completed 23 straight passes, tying an NCAA record. That wasn't just good game stuff, that was future legend stuff. But here's the first real twist of his career, the 2005 draft. The 49ers had the #1 pick. Rodgers grew up a die-hard Niners fan. This was destiny, right? Nope. The Niners passed on Rodgers for Alex Smith. And then we all watched the draft room cameras pan back to him again and again and again. He slid all the way down to pick 24, where the Packers finally grabbed him. His quote afterward, cold as ice. Not as disappointed as the 49ers will be that they didn't draft me. Spoiler alert, he was right. Now, fast forward a bit. He sits behind Brett Favre for 3 years, finally gets his shot in 2008, and then, to everyone's surprise, 4,000 plus passing yards, 28 touchdowns, first quarterback ever to crack 4,000 yards in a debut season as a starter. It was clear from the jump, this wasn't some game manager. This was a flamethrower with a chip on his shoulder the size of Wisconsin. And from there, Rodgers didn't just play quarterback, he redefined it. He owns the best touchdown to interception ratio in NFL history. Think about that. No one, not Brady, not Manning, not Breeze, has been as careful with the football while still throwing bombs downfield. His efficiency is literally unmatched. Oh, and let's talk hardware. 4 MVP awards. Only Peyton Manning has more. 1 Super Bowl ring and a Super Bowl MVP. 10 Pro Bowls. 4 All-Pros. He holds the single-season passer rating record at 122.5 from his 2011 campaign, which was basically a cheat code season. 45 touchdowns, 6 picks, 15-1 record. That's like video game on rookie mode numbers, but it was real life. To give you perspective, when Rodgers was in his prime, defensive coordinators would literally say, "There's no defense for a perfect throw." And Rodgers made those throws look routine. He was a walking highlight reel. Crossbody lasers, rolling left, rolling right, flicker the wrist moonshots that made physics teachers question their career choices. He wasn't just good, he was a quarterbacking artist. And if you want to measure impact, during his run with the Packers, they were perennial contenders. Even when the roster was injured, even when the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed, Rodgers kept them relevant. He didn't just elevate his game, he elevated an entire franchise. So when we talk about Rodgers' peak achievements, we're not just talking about numbers. We're talking about the aura, the swagger, the sense that if you left him 37 seconds on the clock, and yes, ask the 49ers and Cowboys about this, you might as well start the bus because he was about to break your heart. But that's the beauty and the curse of Rodgers' story. Because for every dazzling stat and MVP trophy, there's a flip side. Injuries, playoff heartbreaks, and moments where his legacy looked a lot shakier. So let's talk about when things got complicated. If fact 1 was all about Rodgers climbing Mount Olympus, fact 2 is the part where the football gods start throwing lightning bolts his way. The decline didn't hit all at once. It came in waves, starting with injuries. Rodgers has always been tough, but he's also been unlucky. 2 broken collarbones in his career, nagging calf strains, hamstring issues, and in 2017, that brutal Anthony Barr hit that sideline him for most of the season. Each time he bounced back, but you could tell the body was slowly cashing receipts. Now, let's jump to 2023, where the next chapter was supposed to be cinematic. The Packers moved on, Rodgers got traded to the New York Jets, and suddenly the hype machine went into overdrive. This wasn't just another signing. This was Broadway Rodgers. Headlines were saying the Jets were a quarterback away from being legit Super Bowl contenders. They had a nasty defense led by Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams, offensive playmakers like Garrett Wilson, and the Rodgers magic was supposed to be the missing piece. Then tragedy struck almost instantly. 4 plays into his Jets debut, Rodgers tore his Achilles. 4 plays. The air went out of MetLife Stadium like someone had popped the world's biggest balloon. Jets fans went from thinking, "This is our year," to "Here we go again." And the worst part, that injury came just days after the team had been all in on Rodgers mania. Hard knocks, jersey sales skyrocketing, a franchise finally believing again. Now here's where it gets fascinating. Rodgers, being Rodgers, he didn't just accept it. He went full superhuman mode. We're talking experimental surgery, aggressive rehab, and public vows that he'd return faster than any Achilles tear ever. Some people thought it was ego, others thought it was borderline insane, but you can't deny the guy's obsession with proving people wrong. By December, he was actually cleared to practice. Did he play? No, the Jets season was already toast. But the fact he was even close showed the kind of freak competitor he is. 2024 became his real test. He came back, played a full season, and on paper the numbers weren't terrible. Around 3,900 yards, 28 touchdowns, single-digit picks. Solid, especially post-Achilles. But the reality, the Jets went 5-12, and in the NFL, perception is king. Wins matter more than stats, and Rodgers' return didn't change the team's fortunes. Critics pounced. Was he too old? too beat up, too distracted by off-field interests. And let's not pretend the New York media didn't love this. Rodgers became tabloid fuel. Every soundbite, every podcast comment, every little sideline frustration, all of it got amplified. When you're in Green Bay, you're the king of a small kingdom. In New York, you're under the brightest, harshest spotlight in sports. So the Jets experiment ended up being this paradox. Individually, Rodgers still had flashes of brilliance. He still made throws that only he can make, those flick-of-the-wrist lasers in tight windows. But as a team, it was a letdown. Super Bowl dreams turned into a losing season. And legacy-wise, that matters. Because when people rank quarterbacks, they don't just ask, how many yards did he throw for in 2024? They ask, did he win? And for Rodgers in New York, the answer was no. Rodgers being Rodgers, he didn't leave with his tail between his legs. Instead, he doubled down on competing, setting up his next move, which leads us to another pivot point in his story. The off-field persona, the controversies, the part where his legacy starts to be shaped as much by headlines as by touchdowns. Because let's be real, Rodgers' arm isn't the only thing that's kept him in the spotlight. His mouth has too. And if you thought the Jets' drama was messy, wait until we dive into the controversies that turned Aaron Rodgers into the NFL's most polarizing philosopher quarterback. Rodgers has never been just a quarterback. He's also a walking headline. Vaccine skepticism, alternative medicine, podcasts, spiritual retreats, conspiracy rumors, Netflix docs exploring these themes. All of it adds up. Part of the mystique, also part of the backlash. The Enigma docuseries dove even deeper into his identity. Faith, family estrangement, perfectionism, and whether those inner battles helped or hurt his game. Okay, so what happens when the public story, the performance, and the persona all clash? That's where the rubber meets the road. He's got the hardware, MVPs, All-Pros, Super Bowl ring. But legacy isn't just trophies, it's moments. Fourth quarter comebacks, clutch plays, leadership under pressure. Rodgers has supplied plenty. He's also had moments of struggle, big losses, criticism for game management, moments when people wonder if age or injury robbed parts of his former brilliance. Public perception matters. In Green Bay, revered. In New York, mixed. Now in Pittsburgh, fans wonder, is this a swan song or another surprise encore? In June 2025, Rodgers signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. New home, new set of expectations, new team built for win now. He's been downplaying emotional narratives like his game against Green Bay. Just another game, he says, but make no mistake, beating the team that drafted you, that has legacy moment written all over it. And statistically, he's still up there, among the league's best in many passing categories historically, even if recent seasons haven't matched his prime. Here's the wild card, character legacy, what people think of you outside the numbers. Being a leader, engaging in controversies, off-field persona, they all matter. Rodgers has embraced that. Some love him more for that, others judge harder. The Netflix doc, his ayahuasca trips, his vocal stances, those are shaping how future generations will talk about him. In the end, will people say he was the best at his position, or he was the best at his position, plus always said exactly what he believed, or he was great, but should have done more, been more consistent? Legacy is messy. Here's where we land. Aaron Rodgers' legacy is already among the greats, but it's not just the peak, it's the full arc. Prime greatness, mid-career turbulence, personal controversy, a late career hustle in a new place. If you judge only by the elevator pitch, MVPs, Super Bowl records. He's elite, top shelf. But if you judge by consistency, mentorship, off-field behavior, his story is richer, more complicated. So, what's your verdict? Is Rodgers already fully a legend? Is he still fighting to protect that status? Or has time eroded some of the shine? Drop your take in the comments. Don't hold back. And hey, if you got value from this, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want the real, not the hype, and ring the bell because we've got more deep dives coming. Until next time, trust your eyes, question the narratives, and always expect more than just football.